Welcome back to The Range. Today I'm joined by Jonah Mytro, co-founder and CRO of Precision Pro Golf, the longest running company we featured on the show. We get into how he and his partner bootstrapped the business from day one, why customer service and smart pricing fueled their growth, and how they've stayed ahead by building for the modern golfer. We also talk about his new project, the Friendly Golf Podcast, and what he's learned after 11 years in the game. Let's jump in. Welcome to The Range, the podcast where we explore the intersection of passion and business in the world of golf. I'm your host, Ari Ratner, and each episode will dive into the stories of the innovators, entrepreneurs, and trailblazers who are transforming the game we love into thriving businesses. Whether you're a golf enthusiast, an inspiring entrepreneur, or just curious about the business behind the sport, you're in the right place. So grab your clubs and join us on The Range as we tee off into the world of golf entrepreneurship. Welcome back to another episode of The Range. I'm joined today by Jonah Mytro, co-founder and chief revenue officer of Precision Pro Golf. Really excited to have this conversation. Precision is the longest tenured company on the range so far. So looking forward to getting Jonah's insight from a longer-termed entrepreneur than my other guests. Real quick, Jonah also recently started the Friendly Golf Podcast with another former guest of mine. So excited to jump in on that, as well as just learn the history of Precision. Welcome to the podcast, Jonah.
Thank you very much. Excited to be here. Let's go.
So before we jump into the business behind Precision, give the audience a sense of your connection to the sport, when you started to pick up the sticks and how frequently you're able to get out there.
So I started playing when I was 10 years old. Got my first set of Lynx blades with steel shaft, probably the worst club to get a beginner golfer ever. Ends length, and I had a 1, a 3, and a 5 wooden woods. So that was the beginning, and then it just kind of took off from there. I had the luxury. I went to school where they had a golf course on the actual campus, a 9-hole course, so we could play for $1 anytime we wanted.
Amazing.
We'd go out and play Thursday, Friday, Saturday when we were in school. I really got into golf a lot kind of after school, and then started really getting good probably about 10 years ago when I met my business partner, and we started playing a lot more and actually working on my game and getting better. And as I transitioned out of other sports, baseball, golf kind of took over the focus and the time. So I try to play twice a week if I can. I mean, I have a simulator at my house. A couple guys who work for me have simulators in their apartments. We have a golf course 5 miles down the road. So I'm getting out usually twice a week and either playing 9 holes, I'm playing 18, I'm playing 3 holes, I'm practicing.
Yeah, you in our intake call, you gave me advice as somewhat of a newer golfer to the sport. Would love to share that advice as someone that's played for as long as you have and continues to want to get better. And for me, as someone who started 4 years ago and of course wants to get better, but is challenged by kind of the sport itself. Would love to kind of give the audience your advice.
I mean, the main thing is get a lesson, get a couple lessons. I mean, I try to get a couple lessons every year, but it just comes down to practicing and playing and fixing the flaws in your swing. I've been in the industry for 11 years now with Precision Pro Golf. People ask me, what clubs should I buy? I said, no, don't spend money on clubs. Go get a lesson, fix your slides, fix your hook, fix the issues you're having, and then go get fit for clubs. And I'll give you a good story. I went last week, PG Superstore. Good friend of mine is a fitter. I said, try to fit me into a new driver. I've had the same driver. It's a Sim 2 for 4 years. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he had it great. 280, 300, awesome numbers off the TrackMan. Mm-hmm. He could not fit me into something that outperformed my Sim 2 driver. The Callaway, the TaylorMade QI35, the new Titleist stuff, the Ping, nothing matched up to my numbers. And then we took the heads and put on my existing shaft. Still no numbers that broke my current swing speed and ball speed and distance and length. So he said, stick with what you have. There's no reason to upgrade.
That's awesome. As we transition the conversation to the business and the fact that it's been around for 11 years, how did you and Clay meet?
I randomly met at a bar 2012 and just started a friendship, started playing golf. He was a former golf pro, hated the golf business in terms of being in a pro shop and green grass facility 6 hours a day for 10 hours a day. So we started playing golf and thinking about what we could do in golf.
And you were owned a marketing agency, or ran a marketing agency at the time?
Yeah, so I had my own agency. I was working with other companies consulting in terms of digital marketing efforts. This is kind of the 2010 to 2015.
Mm-hmm.
So I already had something going on, wasn't thinking about the golf business until we started talking about opportunities. And kind of formed this idea of like, let's create a golf company, and took it from there.
And 11 years later, here you guys are. Now, the core product for Precision Pro Golf are rangefinders, but that wasn't the first product you guys launched with, was it?
Yeah, so we launched with a set of training aids, a mat, a putter cube, things that help golfers improve their game.
Yep.
Kind of similar things you're going to see on Amazon now. There are a lot of them are kind of just generic things, but training aids were really hot back then, and they still are.
Mm-hmm.
But we figured out it's very hard to make that next kind of like $1 million training aid idea and product. So we transitioned to rangefinders because there were some patents that were on the market that were expiring. We saw the opportunity to enter the market. There was only 3 competitors at that time. So in 2014, we came up with this kind of idea of like, let's launch a rangefinder. Let's make it $199. We hit the market and see if it can sell.
Yeah. And assume it did. Before we get into kind of the sales of it, how did you go about identifying a manufacturing partner and really going from pen to paper of an idea to a website, your first sale, and ultimately kind of growing the business from there?
Yeah. So, I mean, back then it was, we used Alibaba and a few other kind of sourcing sites for Asian manufacturing. Found a couple of facilities. I did some virtual tours of those facilities, didn't go over there, and found a product that we could kind of white label and launch just to kind of validate, is this something that makes sense? Can we sell it? Before we went into the whole process of redesigning, developing, because we didn't have the expertise or the cash flow to do that. And we wanted to launch something in a few months. So we kind of found a product, white labeled it, brought it to market, and sold out in 1 week.
Now, were you still running the agency at the time? Were you doing a little bit of both?
Yep. Yeah. So I was doing both. I was still doing the agency. I was kind of launching Precision Pro Golf, and I mean, working 65 hours a week. We were doing everything, right? Products would come in, we would check them, we would pack them, we would ship them out. We'd do customer service. We would do sales calls to retailers and green grass stores, launching the website, return. I mean, you name it, me and Clay were doing everything for 2 years.
Now, were you and Clay in the same vicinity? I know he's in Cincinnati. Were you there as well, or did it start elsewhere?
So we started in Santa Monica.
Okay.
And we ran the business from Santa Monica, California for 5 years.
Got it.
Amazing to live on the beach, amazing to work and play and live like within 5 blocks of yourself, where your offices and your house is.
Yeah.
So we had a great time, loved it. There were some limitations. A lot of our customers are on the East Coast and Midwest, and it's very hard to communicate and or see these guys without flying out, and it was very expensive. Taxes, real estate, and this is when things were really starting to pick up in terms of everyone wants to move to California. All the tech firms were coming in, so it was really driving up prices. So we kind of I had a 1-year-old at the time, and we kind of made the decision, let's move the business out of California. Clay's from the Cincinnati area, so let's relocate it in Cincinnati. We can do all our fulfillment from there. It's a central shipping facility anywhere in the country. I will be based in Philadelphia. It's an easy trip. And my role is kind of handling all of our big box, our retailers, our sales team, our new business development opportunities. And I can do that from anywhere.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's interesting with the kind of the 2 co-founder approach and understanding the dynamics between the two and the different skill sets that ultimately support one another. Can you talk about, what skill set you brought to the table as an entrepreneur versus what Clay did and how they worked together to build a successful business?
And so my passion has been sales. So that is where I really took the reins and ran with it, right? New opportunities, new ideas. I'm the one that's going to follow up with the big bucks guys and the retailers to get them to bring our stuff in, right? Build out the sales team that's going to be on the road, hitting the stores and hitting the golf courses, find international distribution. So that was really my focus. Clay was really analytical and focused on the kind of the financial and operation side of it.
Got it.
So who's going to ship the products out? Where are we going to find the fulfillment facilities? Who are we going to handle for our marketing team? I'm working on the Amazon platform.
Now, as you guys transitioned into the rangefinder business, as you mentioned, there were a few players existing in the industry. How does a new brand, how does a newcomer to the industry break in and make an impact?
I mean, we had the right time, right place, right product, right price. So it was 3 other competitors. They were all overpriced at $300, $400, $500. So we came in at $199 and got instant traction. Now it's funny, there was a company that started right when we did, same concept, $199 rangefinder. And what happened was we grew equally for about 3 years, competed with each other. When we started really diving into user-generated content and working with golf creators and content and podcasters, that's when we started to take off. And that was our big kind of like pivot to scaling this business. So we worked with Random Golf Club, No Laying Up, and now we were one of the first companies to ever do it in the golf industry. We were very early, and that was in 2016, 17.
Yeah. Now, what drove that?
So that was one of our marketing guys that said, hey, we got to check these guys out. They're called No Laying Up. They were started in 2014, just when we were launching. They said, it's a good, they have a great following. Now, they only had a couple 100,000 people, so it wasn't enormous. We're talking millions now that some of these guys have. But it was a great way to tap into golfers and build something that resonated with those golfers in terms of making a product that was unique to their audience, right? The No Laying Up rangefinder and being their official partner, where a lot of the other competitors have tied into PGA pros. And that doesn't really generate sales. It generates eyeballs. But we actually wanted someone that actually could talk about our product on a podcast, on air, in one of their videos, show the product, and that would drive sales for our business. And we saw immediate success with it. Through them and through Random Golf Club, it just took off.
Yeah, and I think the earlier point about having the right pricing strategy, especially for that market, probably was key.
Yep.
Go
For
ahead.
example, Bushnell, their entry-level product was $299. If I came in at $299, I wouldn't have gotten traction. No way. So that's why we came in at a price point where we could still make money. It would still hit a price that no one was really experiencing at that time, especially in store. And again, make a product that we thought was a great value. And our last big thing we really tied into was just customer service and treating the customers right. If there was an issue with a product, we'd get them a new one. We'd replace it for somebody. And we knew the other competitors just didn't give a crap about their customers, right?
Yeah.
There'd be an issue. Sorry, we can't warranty it. It's out of warranty. There is an issue with it. So that's the other avenue that we really tied into with our approach to kind of treating the customer better than everybody else did.
Talk a little bit about how that approach may or may not have evolved over the 11 years.
I mean, it hasn't changed. I mean, it stayed the same. It's like at the end of the day, who's the most important person in your business?
Customer.
Your customer. If you don't have a customer, you don't have a business.
Yeah.
I talk to new entrepreneurs out there and I ask them, what's the most important thing? Oh, the product or the pricing. I'm like, no, like you're wrong. If you don't have a customer that's going to pay you money for the product that you're selling and making, you don't have a business. You can make the best goddamn widget out there, but if no one's buying it, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Now it's interesting to think about kind of the core product as a rangefinder, and you know better than anyone, but I would assume that a golfer is buying a rangefinder once every couple years, right? So how do you build on that customer interaction to make sure that, one, you stay top of mind when they need a new rangefinder, but also that they're becoming or are a part of the brand when they're not in the purchase cycle?
Yeah. So typically a rangefinder life is 24 to 48 months. We've had the biggest issue we see is that people forget it, lose it, or get stolen, right? Those are all reasons why someone buys a new one. So we've done a couple things. Number one is our upgrade program. So you own one of our products, you're ready to upgrade, trade in your old one, and we give you 30% off to upgrade to a new one. We take that old one and we donate it to youth on course or donate it to a junior golfer, someone that needs a rangefinder, but hopefully we can bring them into the family. Number two is our battery replacement program. So we had the idea, like, let's give you a new battery when you need one. So the batteries are very standard stock batteries that every rangefinder uses. And so if you need a new one, we'll ship you out a new battery. Those batteries last for about a year. So those are two things that we did. And then number three was just, coming out with products that were relevant, that were new every 24 months. So club companies launch new things every 6 to 12 months. Typically November to January, you'll come out with a new club. Those clubs are relevant for 6 months and then they're discounted because the new stuff's coming out and you can get that same club for 30% off. So we look at a 24-month life cycle where our current product that launched, the Titan series, that will be in the market till 27, and then will be a new version. So it gives us 2 years of really marketing and promoting that brand and that kind of category, that brand category, before we have to kind of think about a new launch or a product update.
Yeah, that's cool. You know, as we talk about the product side of the business, I want to go back a little bit to the first few years. And, the Range is as a podcast was built to provide advice to entrepreneurs that are ideally heading towards a similar path as yours, but very early on, as I myself am in the early stages of launching a golf-centered business. Going back to Precision's first few years and thinking through some of the challenges that you and Clay had to overcome, give the audience a sense of what those challenges were and how you and Clay as founders avoided them or overcame them.
So the first 12 to 24 months are the hardest you'll ever experience in any startup, especially if you're a solo entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't make it 12 months, you may not cut out for this, or the business needs to pivot. If you can make it 24 months, you can make this a business. Your second hurdle is going to be your $1 million mark. Can you do $1 million a year in sales? If you can hit that mark, you've got something, right? I think there's a stat of 85% of businesses are less than $1 million in annual revenues per year.
Mm-hmm.
So some of the biggest hurdles I think number one is getting paid by your customers. So if you buy some online, we get paid right away, right? That's great. But if I'm working with a retailer, a Dick's, a Galaxy, a PJ Superstore, they want net 60 terms. So I'm going to ship them 100 rangefinders on May 1st. I don't get paid on that till probably July 15th. So how are you going to capture that money? Especially when we're an inventory heavy business that needs to rotate through inventory every 15 to 30 days.
Mm-hmm.
And the other big issue is where are you going to get your money from? So the SBA will not give you a dime of money till you have 2 years of positive tax returns. It's one of the stupidest things I've ever heard about, ever. I can get $100,000 to go to school, but I can't get a dime to start a business and invest in myself and bring jobs to the economy. It's asinine. So how do you get money to finance? I mean, we're an inventory rich business, right? We're bringing in tens of thousands of units a year. If your factory doesn't give you financing terms, you got to go to these payday lenders that are going to charge you 25% annually. Every single week, they're going to take out like their cut before anything else. Or you go to friends and family and say, hey, I need $50,000 or $100,000 as a 6 or 12 month loan to float inventory. Because I don't have inventory, I can't sell. If I can't sell, I can't make money. If I can't make money, I don't have a business. Now, again, we are an inventory heavy business, right? We sell a product, we make a certain margin, we reinvest that, we have to pay our staff, our marketing, and then we do it again. If you're a service oriented business, you give golf lessons, right? You are a marketing consultant. Your inventory is your time. So I have 10 hours a day that I can bill out at $100 an hour. I can make $1,000 a day, right? You get paid on the spot. So inventory is time, or inventory is billable hours if you're a marketing agency. So those are all things that you have to think about. What type of business are you going to be? For us, because we were an inventory heavy, inventory rich, it was a challenge for the first 3 years.
Yeah.
Now we were making money. I mean, our year 2, we hit over $1 million.
Yeah. Wow.
Right. And then where we started to really scale, this was the biggest turning point. Amazon was really taking off. We went on Amazon and there's 30 competitors selling our product, right? We would sell to a retailer, that retailer would go on Amazon and sell our product. We said, nope, we're done with that. We were making $2,000 a day on Amazon. We went to all of our retailers and said, you cannot sell on Amazon. You cannot sell our brand on Amazon. We were one of the first people to do it in our category. We lost probably 3 or 4 of those customers and said, well, sorry, we're not going to buy your stuff anymore. I'm like, that's fine. But 6 of those guys stayed on board and they were the biggest e-commerce guys. So what happened was when that was implemented, our sales went from $2,000 a day to $12,000 a day.
Wow. Because
we were capturing every single sale on Amazon direct. The other good thing about Amazon, as much as it's a love-hate relationship, they pay you every 2 weeks. On Saturday night, every 2 weeks, I get a deposit for all my sales. So it's better than selling to a retailer.
Yeah.
Not as good as selling on your website, but it still helps your cash flow.
And I assume the increase from 2 to 12 was probably good, if not better than losing 3 or 4 retailers, or was it a bit of a hit?
Oh, no. Like those guys would buy $10,000 a month from us. Well, now I'm generating $10,000 a day in sales, right? Not $10,000 a month. So
ultimately, selling through Amazon helps with brand awareness, helps with interest, which I assume those retailers, if they were smart, would come back to you and say, we want to carry you for our customers anyway.
So yes, some of those guys did, but there are a lot of these guys, especially early on, all they did was Amazon.
Yeah.
I
Not fair.
still get people saying, "Oh, can we sell on Amazon?" No. Well, why not? I'm like, because it's our brand, it's our business. I'm spending money on Amazon to generate the sale and drive the sale for us, not for you. And if you go on now, you see this now, right? It's called brand gaming. A lot of these brands are like owning the Amazon platform. What we're seeing now in the Amazon ecosystem is that there's a lot of Asian and Chinese manufacturers that are making something, ripping off an idea that did well. Let's say a speaker, right? A golf speaker with a magnet. Back in the day, there weren't any. Now there are hundreds. I bet you 75% of those are coming out of factory where they're not paying duties or tariffs, shipping it directly to Amazon and selling that thing for $19.95, $24.95, undercutting every other manufacturer out there. And they don't care about quality. They don't care about brand building or brand association or customer service. Their goal is to make a product, export it out of China, get the rebate from the government, and then do it again. And if they shut down, they just create a new product, a new brand.
New brand.
And relaunch it again.
Now, how does a company like Precision counteract that?
I mean, we essentially we can't, because you're talking, they're playing a price game. These are ankle biters fighting to the bottom, trying to undercut each other by 20 cents every other day. At a certain point, if we're not making certain margins to support our team and our infrastructure, we're not going to do it. So you know that $199 product we talked about when we launched? That product went from $199 to $149 to $129 to $99 over the course of 8 years. At $99, I make no money.
Yeah.
None.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, time to kill it. Took it out back, Mr. Wonderful says, and we killed it. And we said, if we're going to compete, we can't compete at the $99 price point. Let all the Chinese guys, all those Asian manufacturers fight for that $99 price point, and they can beat each other up.
Yeah.
So in the last 3 years, our whole mindset has changed to, we need to focus on premium, quality, high end. So our entry level is $199. Our mid tier is $249 to $299. Our top end is $399 to $499. We're seeing more people buy our $400 product than buy our $200 product.
Interesting. What's the insight there?
So I think our high end product is going after our competitors' high end products that are $400, $500, $600. So a Bushnell, a Garmin, that are at that. Again, these are these top brands in the market that are $500, $600, $700. I think they view ours as better quality, better features, better warranty. And we've also aligned ourselves with some really nice brands and partners such as PXG and Good Golf. The No Laying Up relationship just ended. John Daly is one of our brand guys that's been with us for 3 years. So I think it's for people that want to spend money and buy a good product. We're now in that top echelon that people think about and talk about and use. I never thought I could sell a product for $400 or $500 and make it be one of our top selling products. But it's just evolution of where we were at and where we are now.
I assume there's also some brand building that has helped kind of you guys reach that cost or price.
Of course. I mean, every year, every partnership we do, right? I mean, it's you have to continue to build the Precision Pro brand name and associate that brand with good quality. So if we don't make a great product, people are going to know that. So our newest product, what we're videoing, right? Here we go.
Yeah, we are.
All right. So here's one of our newest products, right? So this is the new Titan Elite. This is our Master's Edition coming out in a couple weeks. It's titanium, aluminum, magnesium, 100% waterproof. 30 feet for 30 minutes. This will be water resistant or waterproof. All right. We added a 50 round rechargeable battery. It'll last for a whole year. When you pick this thing up, it feels like a beast. Like you could run this thing over with your car and it would still work. So we decided to build something that when you picked it up, you're like, this is a beast of a product. This is worth $400. So
was that an Azalea on there?
So we can't call it the Masters. You got to bleep that out.
Yeah.
This is our Azalea edition. We have 2 models coming out, the $299 and $399 model. So they were launching March 20th officially.
That's awesome. You mentioned that when you started Precision with Clay, you were still managing the agency. Give the audience a sense of when that moment hit you where you said, we're going all in. Close down the agency or whatever you did with it. Let's focus on Precision because we see the potential and future in this business.
Yeah, I think it was year 3, 2007. We launched in 2014. We had 6 months in business. 15, 16, we're good. But again, you're under $1 million in revenue that first year. I think it was 17. That's when we implemented the Amazon strategy. And again, during this time, I mean, we were still doing side hustles. We didn't have VC capital. I will tell a story. Before we launched, I went to a company called Golf Tank.
Mm-hmm.
No one probably knows about it because they're not around anymore. But Golf Tank was Shark Tank for golf products. They're based in Phoenix. I got an introduction to them. We went out and met with them in 2014 before we even kind of launched anything. And we pitched them the business. And they said, we'll give you 50%. We'll give you $300,000 for 50% of your business. I said, that's way too much. We're not going to do that. Now, I'm still in contact with their CEO. He's moved on to other things. And we joke about it, right? It's been 10 years. He's like, I wish I'd made a better deal. And I've been worth a lot of money now. And then another interesting story, we did get investment of $10,000 when we launched. We had a angel investor that came to us. I don't know how they contacted us. And we needed like 10 grand. He said,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I'll give you 10 grand. I want 10%. I'm like, all right, we'll do it. We signed all the documents and he pulled out. For whatever reason, he decided not to do it. We got no money. So I said, all right, kind of pissed at the time, but everything happens for a reason. I mean, that 10%
Now you're happy that,
would be worth a ton of money right now.
Well, it's interesting because, as someone who hasn't launched the brand yet, hearing 300,000 for 50% and you guys immediately saying, no, we're not willing to give up 50%. And I, as a past entrepreneur or failed entrepreneur,
we all fail.
Yeah. That's fair.
We all fail. We've had products that fail. We've had business that fail. It's just a learning experience.
Totally.
And,
But talk a little bit about that though, because the conviction it takes to turn down 3K when you haven't launched a product yet. What were some of those conversations with Clay like? Was there any moment between the two of you where you said, man, we could really use that money, even though knowing giving away half of the company is
it wasn't even, he was with me. We did the meeting together. It wasn't even a conversation. And I remember it was 120 degrees in Phoenix. It was like July or August. So, we had launched the product.
Okay.
We probably had a few months of sales on our belt.
Okay.
We launched in May of 14. So this is August of 14, and it was so hot. I mean, I would step out of my car. I could just feel the heat just like eating away at my soul. Like that's how freaking hot it was. But no, we had said we'll give away 20%, right? We'd seen Shark Tank. We actually pitched Shark Tank. They turned us down, which is fine.
Yeah. Their mistake.
Yeah, it was like, we're just getting started. We're not giving away 50% of a potential business for 300 grand. We can hustle them and make this work, right? And I don't think even if we did the deal, I don't know if we'd have gotten to this place that we are now because we've had to learn.
Yeah.
And we had to fight and we've had to claw. If I got 300 grand, we'd have probably blown it on things that we shouldn't have blown. And that's the biggest thing I see it with kind of investors is like, I start a business, I get $1 million. It's not my money. It's my investor's money. I can spend it however I want. And if I use it, I need more, he'll probably give me more.
I want to stick on that because I think it's a really interesting point that had you raised that money, you guys may not be where you are today because of what you've learned along the way and what you've done, what you've had to do to kind of grow the business and expand. Talk a little bit about that if you can, because I think it's a really fascinating and interesting point for entrepreneurs is all money's not good money. And I think to your point about learning, it's really important for a young entrepreneur or a new entrepreneur to learn the challenges and overcome the challenges themselves without having to raise or needing to raise money.
Listen, any money's good money, right? Like money's good. It's how you spend it is where it's a good or bad decision. So I'll give you a great example. Let's say I got 300 grand. Okay. I need a website. I'll go out and pay someone 15 grand to build that website. I need marketing. I'm going to hire an agency at $4 grand a month to do my marketing for me. Like that's where we start spending money, right? Because it's not ours. If it was my money, you know what? I'd rather keep 15 grand. Let me learn how to code and build a website. Let me keep that 4 grand. Let me learn the marketing and the Google ads and the Facebook ads and understand that. So when I do hire somebody, I can explain to them, hey, this is why we go after these keywords. And this is our target market. Like we've hired outside agencies that sold us on this pot of gold, right? They're going to grow our sales by 15% or 20%. Awesome. They don't know a shit thing about golf and rangefinders.
Yeah.
They're just a guy like behind a desk, like looking for keywords, but not understanding the market. And that's why a lot of we do work with some outside agencies, but a lot of stuff we brought internal and we kept it internal. Our Amazon, we have a full-time guy that does Amazon, right? Our e-commerce, right? We're very small in the ecosystem of golf. We're a niche in golf. No one can do better than us. But like shipping, do I ship myself or do I use a 3PL? Well, we've done both. It makes sense for us to do a 3PL because they have multiple warehouses. The cost, when you think about the cost, if I had 3 full-time people packing and shipping, I'm actually saving money going to a 3PL. Because that 3PL, example, like yesterday, I had 110 shipments need to go out the door. Some of those were single orders, some of those were 12 packs, 24 packs. I got 110 going over to Dick's for an order, right? I have a custom order going up to Canada for Coors Light, right? That 3PL can do it a cheaper, more efficient way than I can getting 3 full-time people.
Well, and I assume, you guys, when you first started, you were packing and shipping yourselves.
Dude, I would get a rangefinder. So it is what it is. I would get these rangefinders. I take it, I put a battery in, I check it, I rebox it, put another box, ship it out.
Yeah.
We're doing it all.
Yeah. And I think that talks to, the learning and understanding before you scale, so that when you do scale, you could work with folks that, maybe better or more, maybe experts in what you need them to do, but you've learned the best way for your brand to inform them how to do it the right way for precision.
And again, I would say I am a little more kind of egocentric in terms of if this is how it needs to be done, do it this way versus I need to let some of that go and be like, you know what? I trust you to do what you need to do. Especially on the shipping, right? One of our customers orders 12, they get 1. Well, who fucked up?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's a terrible experience. Did we mess up or did the warehouse mess up? And now I'm like, you know what? These are going to happen. We just fix it. Hey, you got 1. I'll get 11 out tomorrow. Sorry, dude.
Yeah. I was going to say to the customer, it doesn't matter who fucked it up.
They just want to get it right.
Yeah.
Right? I ordered this. Let me get this. So going back to the conversation about money, I think we see this a lot in other industries. They raise all this money. It's not their money, right? So they're going to throw things against the wall and see what sticks. Versus really dialing down into this is the product we're making. This is the focus we have to have on it. And we got to do it right. We got to make sure that everything we do and every dollar we spend is generating a good product, good advertising. Sorry.
Okay. No. Okay. You're good. Yeah. So, I think the idea that any money and time from an entrepreneurial perspective is so valuable in where it gets spent and what it drives back to the business, especially early on in the early stages. As we transition to kind of the evolution of the sport, given the business has been around for 11 years, golf has changed quite a bit. Certainly, I would imagine since you guys started. But talk a little bit about how precision has evolved as the sport has evolved.
Yeah, I don't think the sport's evolved as much in the last 10 years. You're talking new technology, but still trying to do the same thing, right? We take a little round ball, we try to get in a little hole, and we're trying not to shoot bogeys.
Yeah.
This is what's evolved. User-generated content is becoming huge, right? YouTube gets more views in golf than the PGA or the Golf Channel, right? As much as I tune into the Golf Channel when it's the Masters and certain events, their content sucks. It's boring. It's dull, right? It's great for the old guy, but us young people, we want fun. Everything you do in life is supposed to have fun. If we're not having fun, why are we doing it? The second thing that has evolved, the whole look of golfer. It's completely changed. Dude, I remember your navy polo with your khaki shorts, with your wingtip shoes, right? Every golfer looked the same. And then Bad Birdie comes on and Travis Matthews comes out. And all these companies start to evolve what a golfer looks like. I don't have to look like the guy next door who's wearing the khakis and the polo and the shoes, right? So the whole equipment in terms of your head, what do you wear on your head? Are you wearing a t-shirt? I would golf with this.
Yeah.
Right? It's amazing, right? True Linkswear makes this probably the most comfortable thing I've ever worn in terms of long sleeve, right? Wearing a hoodie when you're golfing 10 years ago, can't do that. Shoes, I have 12 pairs of golf shoes. I only have 1 pair that are the traditional wingtip waterproof shoes from Under Armour. Everything else are running style shoes.
So how does precision kind of fit into this evolution of, let's just call it modern golf?
It was all about customization to the modern golfer. So we made the Masters rangefinder, right? We made the good rangefinder. We started making rangefinders where you could interchange side plates and designs, right? That's my style, right? We did this for the John Deere for one of their events. But this side plate comes off. You know what? I'm a little more simple. I want a little black and white. That's it, right? I want to go with a certain team logo. Customization and creating unique things that speak to each golfer, right? So Good, the partnership with Good is all about making a good rangefinder with their colors, their brand that talk to their customers. We did it with Random Golf Club. We did it with No Laying Up. So it's all personalization.
Yeah.
And that's where we started to take the business. And then the other part was creating things that no one else did. So we did 4 things before anybody else did them. Now, we got everybody else replicated what we were doing. So a magnet on the rangefinder. I remember one of our retailers came to me in 2016 and said, why don't you put a magnet on the rangefinder, which is this. So why would I do that? He said, because I'm selling the crap out of these things called stickets. So the sticket was a strap with a magnet on it. You'd put it around your rangefinder and it would stick to the cart. So this never had a magnet on it. So they would sell these for $30. Well, why don't I just take a magnet, stick it in the rangefinder? It would sit right in the cart. Problem solved.
Yeah.
So we were the first to do that. We were the first one to put an LCD on a speaker that you could use for golf so it would show your distance. We were the first one that took and made GPS in the unit. So when you shot the distance, it would give you front, middle, back of the actual green. We were the first ones to do a lost rangefinder function. So when you lose your rangefinder, it'll track it down for you.
Interesting.
So those are all things that, again, we innovated in terms of making things that were new and different. We were the first one to connect your app, our Precision Pro Golf app, with the rangefinder. So these could communicate and talk to each other. So those are some of the newer things that we did the last kind of 5 years.
Yeah.
And then probably one of the, I think the coolest things we've done, we haven't monetized it, is we came up with our own Precision Pro Golf app. And we started working on this 6 years ago. And the whole idea was there are people that are never going to buy one of our products, right? Either they don't want a rangefinder, they don't think they're that good, they're just getting into golf. So how do we capture that golfer and get them into the Precision Pro family? And it was all about, let's map every golf course, let's build an app, let's create an app that we would use as golfers and give it away for free. So the Precision Pro app is something that's out there. It's been out there for 5 years. It's free. Anybody can use it. We'll never charge for it. And it's a killer app. Now,
Go ahead. Sorry.
We don't monetize the app, so we're not going to spend millions of dollars advertising it like other companies do, because that's their main business. For us, it is an add-on, right? Yeah. We want to create something where you can keep your score, you can track your stats, you can see the course, you can see the wind, you can see the slope, and there's zero barrier to entry for you to download it and use it.
And it's a value add, right?
It's a completely value add, and the whole idea is let's get as many people as we can using it, right? You have an iWatch, and it hooks up to your iWatch and gives you your numbers. Now, I'm not the consumer for an app. I'm a 6 handicap. I want to know the exact distance. I will use an app if I'm playing a course I've never played before. And I need to find certain landing spots. Or a good example, I'm playing in a tournament. It's a 3-club scramble tournament in a month. I go on and map every single hole out. What's the distance? What club am I going to bring? I only can bring 3 clubs.
Right.
So that's where
That's wild. So you would go on the app prior to the tournament, app everything out, figure out, on average what club you would use. And so just out of curiosity, because I've never heard of a 3-club scramble. What is what would you bring or what will you bring?
It's a 5,200 yard 18-hole course. The par 3s are anywhere from 99 to 150. The par 4s are between 260 and 350. All right. You only bring 3 clubs. You cannot share them, but it's a 4-man scramble. So my initial thought was I bring a 2 hybrid. It's about 220 for me. I can putt with it. I'm going to bring an 8 iron. That's a 140 to 160 club I can use. And then I bring a 52-degree wedge for around the greens. So I putt with my hybrid. I have my mid iron for that 150 shot, right? I got my 52-degree wedge, which is anywhere from a 110 under distance. So that was my theory. I talked to a guy who played in this last year, and he said the teams that did well were the ones that brought drivers, ummed it to the green, and basically had an easy chip. So he said they'd bring their putters. This is what you do.
Oh, wow.
Two of your guys bring your driver, a wedge, and a putter. Your other 2 guys bring your hybrid, an 8 iron, and a wedge. Because you got to think, if you're on the green and you got 4 looks at a putt, at least 2 of the 4 are going to make it. You can make it with a putter, you can make it with a hybrid. But he said you got to be on the par 3s in 1, and you got to be close to the greens in 1 on the par 4s, because they don't do mulligans.
What course is it?
It's called, it's John Byrne Golf Club. It's in Philly.
Okay.
It's part of the Philadelphia First Tee program that we're sponsoring. They invite us out to play. So the event's in April. I've never played in a 3-club scramble event. So I'm so excited to play in it. I got a good team. We're going to win.
Nice.
But yeah, listen, the strategy, it's a tough one. I ask people all the time, if you only bring 3 clubs, like, what do you bring? You got to think about what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, what the strengths of your teammates are, because it is a team event, essentially.
Have you used a hybrid for putting before?
I don't think I have.
You may want to take it to the putting green.
So I think hitters on my team. We'll bring our drivers, our wedges, and our putters. My other 2 guys will bring their hybrids, 8s, and wedges.
That's cool. It should be a fun event. You'll have to let me know how you do.
I'll be posting about it across social. We'll do some content on it.
It's actually a nice transition because I think if it could be good content for your new podcast, the Friendly Golf Podcast. So let's transition as we kind of near the end of our conversation. First of all, Jonah, I appreciate the time and love learning about precision and your story. And I think a lot of the conversation has been great advice for other entrepreneurs without saying like, here's advice directly to do. But I think your story holds true in helping other entrepreneurs navigate some of the pitfalls in the beginning of launching a business. So you're in year 11, year 12. You started a podcast with a friend in the golf space. You talk about content being very important as the world evolves from a marketing perspective. Tell the audience a little bit about Friendly Golf and why you and Billy started it.
So I've been wanting to do a podcast for a while, but I really couldn't find someone to do it with that kind of had time to do it. And he was doing a podcast with his co-founder. They got busy. Decided to kind of put it on hold in July. So I reached out to him probably about a month and a half ago. I said, hey, you just want to relaunch this and do a podcast about golf? We'll do it once a week, 30 minutes, and just have fun with it. It's about having fun. I love PTI that Tony Kornheiser and Michael Wilbon do because it's 30 minutes once a day. There's not that much golf stuff to talk about every day, but I can do something once a week. So the whole idea was let's do something once a week. Let's have fun with it. Record on Mondays, put out on Wednesdays, and just see like where it goes.
How's it been so far?
We're 4 episodes in. I mean, listen, we've had some really good ones. We've had some ones that suck. We had one where our voices sound like crap. I'm like, well, let's just launch it. Like, who cares? Like that, it's what we did 10 years ago, right? You got to build it. You got to mess up. You got to fix it. And you got to do it again. I think the difference here is that like we're being authentic. Yes, we each are co-founders of different companies, but we're just having fun talking about golf. And hopefully we have some listeners that enjoy it and like it. Some people be like, hey, this sucks. Like, this isn't the material that I really want. But we're going to have some guests on. We're going to just kind of talk anything golf related.
Yeah.
We each have our different perspectives. I mean, dude, I'm in it every single day. If something happens, I get alert about it. I know about it. And he views it from a very different he's more of an outsider standpoint. He's not in it as much as I am. So yeah, it's called Friendly Golf. It's on YouTube. It's on iTunes. We do put on YouTube Shorts, Instagram. So let's see where it goes.
The value, I think, of being in the golf community is you do have a wide range of audience types, right? Like, I think to your point, you and Billy may come from the conversation from different perspectives, but you both are golfers and are part of the golf community. I'm excited to see where it goes as well. I think at least with the range, there's some similarities in just trying things out and learning. And I love that, your initial answer to the question about Friendly was you're doing exactly what you did 10 years ago. You're trying something and learning along the way, which I think is the ultimate advice for any entrepreneur.
Yeah, I will say this. You could listen to this and disagree with half the stuff I've said or everything I've said, and that's fine. I don't care. These are my experiences. You're going to have your own experiences. You're going to have your own trials and tribulations that you go through, but you got to learn from it all. You're going to fail. You're going to get knocked over. There's going to be days that are going to suck ass. Dude, Monday sucked. I had to pay a duty bill to the federal government because I misshipped something, and I was pissed off. And my wife was like, you're an asshole. Like, there are times that are going to suck as an entrepreneur, and not everybody's built for it. You got to get through the noise. You got to break through the bullshit. And my biggest thing that I try to do every day is write down 3 things that are going to make me better tomorrow as a company. Right? So what are the 3 things I need to get done today that is going to make Precision Pro better? It's going to make me better. It's going to push our business forward. Because it can be a freaking grind, right? I got a customer who's pissed off at me. I got this order has an issue. This order needs to go out the door. I just got a big order from this company over here. That's awesome. But then someone knocks me down and like makes me feel like shit because whatever reason. I got a shipment's late coming out of China. There are so many things, good and bad, that are going to happen, and not everybody can do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you got to have thick skin, but you also have to say, you know what, fuck it, I'm just moving on. You can't control everything. You can't fix everything. You can't do everything right. Do as much as you can, better than the day you did before, and focus on how do you make your company better tomorrow.
Yeah, I love that advice. And as we kind of move to the last section, which will be just a rapid fire question to give the audience a little more peek behind the curtain of Jonah. But before we do that, you mentioned your wife. As an entrepreneur, in the business for 11 plus years, you don't have to go into detail about your wife necessarily, but talk about your support network and the importance of surrounding yourself with that support community, whether it be your partner, whether it be your family, whether it be your friends, and how that has helped shape you as an entrepreneur and businessman.
Yeah, I mean, I've been an entrepreneur for my whole life. I always built things and try to sell things and create something cool. Listen, I got 3 amazing kids, and my wife she's a no bullshit type of person. Like, she'll call me out on my shit and say, like, just like, go do it. Like, she's not gonna like console me like when shit happens. She's like, we'll fix it. We're good because we have different perspectives and we can bounce things off of each other. We have advisors that we work with and kind of mentors that we can talk to. But I also use my team, right? I'll go to them and say, hey, here's an idea. What do you think? And they're going to give me the truth because I don't want to hear the bullshit. Oh, it's a great idea. No, if it sucks, it sucks. And tell me why.
Yeah.
Because, I don't want like people to just say, oh, that say yes, sir, and just do it. If they disagree, tell me you disagree and why. But listen, I think I've done this solo entrepreneur stuff before. I've done it with a co-founder. I think it's a lot more fun with a co-founder. Again, you make half the money that you do as a solo entrepreneur, but hopefully you make more money because you're doing it with somebody that can help build it. So hopefully that answers your question in a concise format. A lot of stuff going on there.
No, it does. And I appreciate it. So let's jump into the rapid fire questions.
Let's go.
And then we'll end with you just telling people where to find Precision Pro and you online. Favorite golf course you've ever played?
Favorite golf course I ever played. Torrey Pines was amazing, but I wouldn't play it again. Atlanta Country Club is amazing down in Atlanta. They have a hole that looks just like number 15 at Augusta. So I'd say Torrey Pines and Atlanta Country Club.
Awesome. What's the one piece of gear you can't live without on the course?
Rangefinder. Duh. All right. It is the rangefinder. If it wasn't the rangefinder, that'd be the putter, right?
Yeah.
You drive for show, putt for dough.
Yeah, definitely. What's your go-to snack and drink on the course?
All right. Go-to snack, any granola bar, apple. Go-to drink. Here's the deal. You get Element, which is the liquid IV salt stuff. I throw it in with some Gatorade or Prime, and I throw it in with Celsius. I mix it up. That is my go-to. I have it twice a day, morning, evening, on the course. It's amazing. I don't drink coffee.
Do you flavor specific or no?
Whatever I steal my wife's Element. Don't tell her. It starts disappearing.
This will be interesting from Precision's perspective. If you could collaborate with any brand in the world, who would it be?
TaylorMade.
Easy.
We've done it before. And the reason why is they are not, Callaway's the number 1 golf brand. TaylorMade's very, very close to number 2. They do awesome marketing stuff. So Callaway makes a good product. Taylor makes it cool.
Interesting. And then last question. What's your proudest moment as a golf entrepreneur so far?
Proudest moment? God, there's so many. I'm going to say biggest deal ever.
Proudest, well, however you want to, classify it.
I think that we made our first rangefinder back in 2016 and 17 that we built from scratch, right? Because it took so much work to actually see it like come to fruition, have it in our hands, and not like buy something off the shelf and put our name on it. That was great. There's so many. Getting it all the big box stores, right, is great, and having them reorder, right? So the biggest issue with any physical product, you get into a store, you have one shot to make it work. And what I mean is you get that widget, you get it on the shelf, they want sell-through. And sell-through is how many people are going to come and buy it every week, every month. They have a certain target that they set. If you don't hit that target, well, what are they going to do? They're going to clear it out, or they're going to move it, or they're going to drop the price. And if you don't have good sell-through, you're not getting back in there. Excuse me. we're also seeing the sell-through that supports reordering. And the last thing is going to be the new Titan series that we came out with. I mean, I think this thing is freaking kick-ass. It is the best goddamn rangefinder out there. I would put it next to any rangefinder from Bushnell, Nikon, Callaway, Garmin, you name it. Head-to-head, I will kick your ass with this rangefinder. Like, it is that freaking cool. So those are my three.
I love it. I love it. Well, Jonah, I appreciate the time. Let's give the audience a sense of how to find you guys online, and certainly want to plug how to find Friendly Golf, even though you did say it's on YouTube and Apple.
Listen, I arrange find from Precision Pro, and then you can come and find Friendly Golf on any of your podcasting, YouTube paraphernalia. No, so listen, there's a link right here, precisionprogolf.com. Click on the link, go to our website. You can buy on Amazon. We're in 3,000 retailers across the country. Listen, if you're in the UK, Ireland, New Zealand, Australia, find one of our retailers there. We have retailers out in 30 different countries. And if you have any questions, find me on LinkedIn. You can Slack me, you can message me on LinkedIn. I'll answer you.
He will, I promise. Jonah and I recently got to know each other, and I appreciate his time. It's been fun talking golf with you, and certainly business, and look forward to following along in the future.
Yeah. Now, last thing, you have a business you're launching.
Yes.
We talked a couple weeks ago. Have you taken anything from our conversation that you're going to use in your business?
Absolutely.
What is it?
So I love the conversation around not focusing on trying to raise money, focusing on getting product out the door and learning as much as you can as a young entrepreneur. I also love, the insight that you spoke about everyone. And as a marketer, I constantly said this, that product is key. But if you don't have a customer buying your product, then you don't have a business. And so understanding your customer and understanding if they're buying habits or purchasing habits, but making sure that you have a dynamic product to serve them, I think is almost as important as making sure you have a customer to buy.
Now, you're coming out with a physical product in the future. What I've learned from physical products, don't price it too low. Set a price. If you have to drop the price, fine, drop it. It's very hard to launch it and say, oh, now it's $300 more because I completely mispriced the market and I sold out way too fast.
Yeah. Yeah. You can always price down. You can't price up.
Now, you can price up if you decide only to work as a direct consumer play. You start going to retail and going to other places, that is very tough to start to adjust pricing. If you ever get into retail, if that's something you want to do, which again, certain products is great for. Certain products, it is a pain in the ass and you don't want to do it. Own the customer, own the experience, whether it's on your website, even Amazon. Those are great places to grow a multi-million-dollar business and not deal with all the retail bullshit. And there is, guys, one last, my worst experience with retail. We got an order for Dick's. It was a big PO, like $50,000. Dick's has a 99-page routing guide that you have to read. All right. It's like a goddamn book. It sucks. If you put the label on the wrong place on the box, they will ding you for the value of the package up to 25%. So I got a chargeback for $10,000 because we put the label on the wrong part of the box in the wrong area. Mm-hmm. That was the most furious I'd ever been. Because you close this deal, you got Dick's Galaxy, my biggest retailer out there. You're so pumped, and they just killed $10,000 in your profit margin because of one stupid mistake. But this is why they're in business. They can do this.
Yeah.
So you learn from it and move on.
Yeah, I love it. I love the advice. I love the passion. I could feel it through the video, and appreciate the time, Jonah, truly.
All right. Anything else? We good?
We're good. All right. Signing off. Thanks, guys.